What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you tune into the channel and check out the content. And with that being said, man, I want to speak on this situation that's going on, like the quarterback battle. The Cleveland Browns try to act like there's not a quarterback controversy, a quarterback battle going on. But the more I watch this kid Dillion Gabriell play, I just think it's tough for him to. By him being a short quarterback, see, I never was really a big fan of short quarterbacks like the kid, what's his name, Kyler Murray. Not really, wasn't really a fan of Kyler Murray. Because there's some drawbacks to being under 6 feet tall. Like anybody that's 6 feet tall and over, I think you more likely to be able to have more success. But when you have to definitely throw through lanes, you kind of you kind of put yourself at a disadvantage when you got to throw through lanes. And I think that's a big part of Dillion Gabriell's problem. I think another part of his problem is, I mean, he's a rookie, right? And he's going to throw because he don't have that confidence. He don't have that confidence or that experience yet. So he's going to make some late throws. He threw a few balls this past game that against the Steelers that really should have been picked off. Right. And so now Skip Bayless, who is now on the Gills Arena show, spoke about this and gave his input. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play the audio, right, from what Skip Bayless had to say about the Dillion Gabriell situation and Shedeur Sanders, and then I'm gonna come back and add some my reaction to it.
This is just me. I'm not objective. I disqualify myself when it comes to Shedeur, but I would have thrown Shedeur into the dumpster fire in the fourth quarter because the game was way over. Dillion Gabriell he's a great kid and he tries hard. And the best thing I can say about Dillion Gabriell is that he's not bad. That's damning with faint praise, right? He's not bad. That's what you'll always say about Dillion Gabriell is he's not bad. Shedeur can be great if you give him a shot. Shedeur would have ignited the sideline and the huddle if thrown into the fray, even at Pittsburgh. And I completely respect what you have to say about it's not his game plan and he's not getting reps and blah, blah. I get all that. He's just a very special kid. And I know his father very well. And his father raised him to be a starting quarterback in the National Football League. He was raised around stars and superstars. It's just in his blood. If you give him a chance, he will seize the opportunity and he will run with it because he just built that way. No stage will be too big for him.
Let me before Skip Bayless continue, let me just say this too. When he said about like being a star, right? And I watched the kid Jackson Dart, for the Giants. And like those players for the Giants on that offense, not just first of all, the offense, they really respond to him. I think the energy that he brings to that team, Jackson Dart, is I think it's real. So when he talk about like if your team rallied behind you as a quarterback, I think that's something is big. So we have seen it in the past. They didn't even want Russell. Like when Russell Wilson came in there, if you were watching the Giants play their last game, Jackson Dart had to step out for a play or two, and that crowd lost their mind. They didn't want no parts of Russell Wilson. Like Giants fans ain't want no parts of him. He was getting booed and everything. So there is something to be said about like the energy that certain players and certain leaders bring to the table. I think what has happened with Shedeur Sanders is some people on that staff may not appreciate his, the fact that he brings so much attention. So it's basically almost like a pissing contest, right? And so you got some people on the team and that's on that staff who like, we're gonna show him that we don't really need him. Whereas though, if your job is on the line as a coach or a general manager, you better get somebody in there who can, who gives you a chance to win. That's the only way you really can save your career. But let me get back to what Skip Bayless was saying about this situation.
Even at Pittsburgh against that defense, even if you just thrown him into the dumpster fire in the fourth quarter, you say that's not fair. It's Shedeur, and you would see right away the energy would go up in the huddle because they all know they're playing not to lose with Dillion Gabriell, and I feel sorry for Dillion Gabriell. And you and we're rooting against him, and I like him as a kid because he's a really good kid, but as a football player, as a quarterback in this predicament of a situation, I'm rooting against him, and I feel sorry for him because behind him is the most popular backup quarterback in the history of the National Football League. He was the third string quarterback, and now I think he's the second, but I can't even trust that with Kevin Stefanski, who is obviously no fan of Shedeur's. Kevin is doing everything in his power to keep Shedeur out of the spotlight and off radar because he knows once Shedeur gets his foot in that door, look out, because there's going to be an avalanche of national publicity and national runaway expectation that Shedeur is going to be the guy. And he should be now. He should be starting now. But, here's Stefanski's answer the other day. Why didn't you give Shedeur a shot in the fourth quarter? And he won't even speak Shedeur's name. He never refers to the question about Shedeur with saying Shedeur's name. And Stefanski said of Dillion Gabriell, we know he's tough. He's going to keep fighting. Okay, I get it. He's a tough kid, mentally tough. I don't know about physically. Shedeur is mentally and physically tough. Much tougher to me. I saw it at Jackson State and at Colorado. Shedeur took an unholy physical beating for 2 years at Colorado because they couldn't protect him. And he would hang on to the ball only to try to hit the home run for his dad. Like he knew they were up against it in some games, and I got to hold it and hope somebody can break free, sometimes Travis, for a deep ball. And if they get me, they get me. And if they rock me, they rock me. But listen, that kid in college, he would jump up. He would take the most wicked shot in the pocket. He just jumps right back up like.
All right, so what Shedeur, in my opinion, do I think that Shedeur will be able to rally the players around him? Yeah, possibly. I think so. Just because Shedeur is, he comes to the table with that swagger and that confidence. I think so, right? And I don't get. I think Stefanski just they drafted Dillion Gabriell ahead of Shedeur. So they want to give Shedeur, they want to give Dillion Gabriell, a fair shot, which I can understand. But it do, in my opinion, it just looks like Stefanski is really, he's being bullheaded and stubborn right now, and you can't, when you think about it, like when your job is on the line, you can't really allow the media or outside forces to tell you what to do as far as your team is concerned. You can't allow one of your players to leverage the media or outside forces. That's the kind of thing that it seemed like what's going on. Like Shedeur, is leveraging the media and outside forces to force this coach's hand to play him. Now, if I'm Stefanski, and even if this is happening, sometimes you gotta, you gotta swallow your pride, man, and just go along. Like, all right, if you can do better, then you're gonna be out there. Just ride the wave. That's all you can do, because if he don't ride the wave and the team continue to lose, and this could cost him his job. And which it may, even if Shedeur Sanders has some success out there, he put Shedeur in there, they had some success, and then they'll be able to coexist. Like all quarterbacks, all the great quarterbacks and coaches have always had the best relationships. You know, the guy, you know, I remember when Terry Bradshaw was with the Pittsburgh Steelers. What was the guy named? What was his name? Chuck Noll. I think the head coach was Chuck Noll. They didn't always see eye to eye. You know, they still bump heads from time to time, but they still managed to win, you know, win 4 Super Bowls. So it's not necessary for the coach and player to always get along, you know, or see eye to eye on everything. Even Tom Brady sometimes didn't get along with Bill Belichick, but they won, you know, like 6 Super Bowls together. So it is what it is. I'm just curious to see like how long it's going to take for this coach to realize that you know that Shedeur Sanders should get a shot, you know. And on the other hand, who knows? He might. This coach may be planning on putting Shedeur in there pretty soon because I mean I don't think Shedeur can do any worse or will do any worse. And let him, you know, put him in the give him an opportunity to put his money where his mouth is, you know. That's all I could say. But that's it for this video. Y'all make sure to like and subscribe. Don't forget to leave a comment. And with that being said, I'll check you all out in the next video.